on the mission.
A mission.
Today is the day. Start your ignition. Let's take it away.
All the way to the top.
We gotta rise. Gotta rise. Gotta rise. We gotta rise. Gotta rise. Gotta rise.
Government continues to pursue an aggressive legislative agenda to increase access to justice for all. In 2012, the Ministry of Justice pursued work to rid the country of any form of inequitable dispensation of justice. 2012 was Jamaica's Golden Jubilee, 50 years of political independence. Government through the Justice Ministry used the opportunity to advance the independence agenda. The Caribbean Court of Justice (CCJ) bills were redesigned and tabled in Parliament in July. Debate on the legislation started to have the CCJ as Jamaica's final court of appeal, replacing the UK-based Privy Council.
If and when it passes there, it will come to the Senate and will be debated and heard by the Senate in, I would say, early 2013.
Addressing Jamaica's crime problem through the law was a priority for the Justice Ministry in 2012. The new Evidence Special Measures Bill got Parliament's stamp of approval, allowing for the admissibility of evidence via live audio-visual links or video recordings in criminal and civil proceedings and in a coroner's inquest.
The use of a television link will allow the court to receive the evidence from those who may be regarded as vulnerable due to trauma or fear of giving evidence in court, as befalls many victims of sexual offenses. Live link technology allows the witness to give evidence from a location outside the court and can be seen and heard by the participants in the court.
The Committal Proceedings Bill, meanwhile, was tabled in Parliament. It seeks to reduce delays in the courts and give perpetrators less room to intimidate witnesses by abolishing preliminary inquiries. That is to be replaced with what the ministry calls Committal Proceedings, which would allow the magistrate to determine whether or not a case should go to the Supreme Court for trial based on the paper evidence prepared. On another front, the ministry scored a huge achievement for the Restorative Justice Program in 2012 when the policy document on the matter was tabled in Parliament. Restorative justice complements judicial proceedings by allowing victims and perpetrators to come together to resolve their issues collectively. The concept focuses on healing individuals, the community, and the society at large, rather than solely on punishing the offender. 4 restorative justice centers were opened in St. Andrew, Spanish Town, St. James, and Maypen as part of a pilot project to support the initiative. Passage of the policy in Parliament will allow for the full implementation of restorative justice. In the meantime, several volunteers and dozens of government workers have been trained in the principles of restorative justice. Cabinet last year approved the National Plan of Action on Child Justice. To support that, 100 volunteers were trained to deal with children who come in conflict with the law under the Children in Court program. The Justice Ministry also secured resource kits to support the project. The Children in Court program is part of a broader strategy to deal with child justice in the country.
This is really part of a broader strategy dealing with child justice in Jamaica. We are pursuing a child diversion policy, which we are rolling out a 2-year program with the support of UNICEF, again, to try and find ways in which we will be able to divert children who really have no proper place in the criminal justice system, but may have fallen afoul of the law in ways which do not require incarceration.
In the meantime, the ministry's Victim Support Unit was mandated to guide children who come in conflict with the law through the court process.
We have a checklist that is designed to at least help the child to understand what it is to be ready, the various things that they will face in court, the purpose for various persons. We have model courthouse that is designed to help the child while they are in here to work through understanding where people sit and what their role will be.
2012 also witnessed the Justice Ministry's Reform Implementation Unit coming into operation. Working closely with the Canadian Department of Justice, the unit monitors the ministry's overall justice reform agenda and manages the implementation of the Justice Undertakings for Social Transformation JUST program.
It's a CEDA-funded program, CEDA being the Canadian government, a 4-year program. We finally got it up and running. We've established a Justice Reform Implementation Unit within the Ministry of Justice, and they're really responsible for helping us to drive the reform program in justice over the next 4 years. So that is a fairly major institutional strengthening that we've done.
In other justice matters, the ministry instituted the Court Management Services as a separate entity with responsibilities for the operations of the country's courts. The Ministry of Justice was also responsive to social problems in 2012. Later in the year, it brought amendments to the Spirit Licensing Act before the Houses of Parliament. The amendments were approved, allowing the Justice Minister to fix the opening and closing hours of licensed establishments. The provision of the previous arrangement was a major contention for several alcoholic establishment operators who felt the closing hours needed to be extended. With the amendment passed, the minister is proposing to extend the closing hours for bars. Opening and closing hours for hotels remained the same.
We have managed to bring to Parliament quite a bit of legislation in that period.
Among them was legislation requiring lawyers to undergo continuous legal education as a condition of being able to practice. It also allows the General Legal Counsel to step in and to take over the law practice where a lawyer has died or has absconded and is otherwise unable to practice. There was also
the legislation to allow the court to make interim payments of damages where there are claimants in court who have a need for money to finance medical expenses.
Even at the end of the year, the ministry continued its mission to ensure that justice is accessible to all as the Morant Bay Courthouse was reopened at a new location in December. Cases set for hearing in the St. Thomas Circuit Court returned to the parish for the first time in 5 years. Matters before the St. Thomas Circuit Court were being held in Kingston following a 2007 fire which destroyed the Morant Bay Courthouse. The Ministry of Justice was on a mission in 2012 to ensure that citizens who need justice had access and were not alienated. No matter a Jamaican's race, creed or class, the Ministry of Justice is creating a just society for all through an aggressive legislative agenda and justice reform.
I'm on the mission.
A mission.
Today is the day. Start your ignition. Let's take it away.
All the way to the top.